Every once in a while, the market gives us a paradox. The company with a strong business performance, growing revenue, beating the estimates, and expanding margins. Yet the stock price is going down. This kind of disconnect always catches my attention because sometimes it provides a great buying opportunity. This is the case for BioMarin Pharmaceutical, ticker symbol BMRN. Stay tuned if you want to learn more. BioMarin is a global biotech company that focuses on rare and ultra-rare genetic diseases. It naturally reduces the total addressable market in comparison to ordinary pharmaceutical companies, but it also reduces the competition. The company divides its revenue into three sectors: enzyme therapies, VOXZOGO, which is a drug that treats skeletal disorders, and Roctavian, which is a drug that treats hemophilia A. If you want to learn more about those conditions, Google it. For the purposes of this video, it is enough to know that those conditions are rare and patients have limited options. As I said before, the company had a great quarter. We can see in their latest Q2 report that the revenue is up 16% year over year, each segment growing meaningfully. Also, management has updated their full year guidance to $3.2 million. More impressively, with GAAP diluted EPS up 124%, non-GAAP 50%. That aligns with their operating cash flow increase by 55%. Also, we can see that the management has upgraded their guidance for the full year 2025 from $4.40 to $4.55 for non-GAAP diluted EPS. The difference between revenue and income growth obviously indicate margin expansion. We can also see that they has updated their full year guidance for non-GAAP operating margin from 33 to 34%. It is important to mention that the current guidance excludes the impact of acquisition of Inozyme Pharma, which closed July 1st, 2025, for $270 million. I've researched this acquisition and it sounds to me like a great fit. BioMarin acquired capable scientific team and proprietary enzyme replacement technology, which aligns perfectly with their rare genetic disease direction. Additionally, the company strengthened their portfolio with a late-stage enzyme replacement therapy INZ-701. The FDA has granted fast-track designation for this treatment, which is the sign of confidence in the treatment's safety and urgent medical need in such a therapy. Preliminary results for INZ-701 are quite promising, with 80% of treated infants surviving past first year, against a historical average of 50%. The final results for clinical trials will be released in the first half of 2026, with an estimated launch in 2027. Their own R&D pipeline has two other major catalysts in the first half of 2026. VOXZOGO, which is already a commercial success, will have final readouts for HCH, hypochondroplasia. If successful, it will expand use case of the treatment into new disease and subsequently expand the revenue. Also, the company anticipates the broadening of Palynzic's approved patient population to include adolescents and the readout of phase 1 results of strategically significant BMRN 333, a direct successor of VOXZOGO, designed to address certain limitations of current therapy. More specifically, BMRN 333 could be injected only once a week, unlike VOXZOGO, which requires daily injections. This is a significant improvement, especially given that most patients are children. The discomfort that comes from daily required injections is actually one of the reasons why the stock price is down. Ascendis Pharma has successfully researched a competitor drug, TransCon CNP. The target date for potential approval is November 30, 2025. This drug already has a benefit of being required to be injected only once a week, which I imagine is a significant comfort improvement for the patient, given that the most patients are children. I put myself in place of the parents who who have to go through this procedure, and going through it only once a week sounds much more manageable than doing it every day. However, I doubt very much so that the market share of VOXZOGO will decline rapidly. Because of the complexity of rare disease treatment and regulation, the adoption could take years. VOXZOGO itself was approved in November 2021. It took 4 years for this drug to scale out globally. And again, putting myself in a place of a parent treating his child from this skeletal disorder, if the drug is working, I would be very hesitant to switch my medication just out of fear that I will mess something up. BioMarin announced legal action against Ascendis Pharma, based on their belief that TransCon CNP product and development infringed on their patent. Honestly, I'm not qualified to evaluate the validity of this claim. However, I can deduce that it could further postpone the adoption of TransCon CNP and give time for BioMarin's own product, BMRN 333, to enter the market. The patent covers long-acting variants of CNP, which is a broad enough definition to include TransCon CNP product. From what I've read, most cases like that end in the favor of new drug, with settlement including royalties or cross-licensing. But the main reason why I'm not overly concerned about VOXZOGO's competition is that BioMarin is not a one-drug company. VOXZOGO represents around 30% of its revenue, so even in a highly unlikely scenario, when the market share of the drug goes down to zero, it's not a company-breaking development. On this slide, we can see that enzyme therapies, which represent around 65% of the revenue, are growing 15% year over year. With a strong R&D pipeline and multiple catalysts in year 2026, I expect for this segment to continue its robust growth. Hopefully, by this point, my reasons to buy are quite obvious to you. I see a disconnect between business fundamentals and its cheap valuation. Just in 2026, we could see 3 major catalysts moving the stock price higher, while the downside is rather limited. It is already trading near all-time lows at FwPE slightly below 11 and PEG ratio of 0.63. In the end, I simply believe if the company keeps beating analyst expectations, as BioMarin has for the past 6 quarters, sooner or later valuation expansion should happen. Hopefully you found this video entertaining and time-saving. This is just my second upload, so if you like and subscribe, it would make my day, or even a week. Do your own research, get rich, and I'll see you next time.